Vom Eise befreit sind Strom und Bäche. From the ice they are freed, the streams and brook. It's a very famous quote from German literature, and it's about a walk on Easter Day. And Easter is now in fact here. It's a very appropriate this year because not only the ice in general is melting, but also the snowflakes. And it seems various concerns that are snowflakey have disappeared now from the face of the earth. There's only one real topic left, the virus. And with the virus, a couple of things have returned. The state, the strong state, obedience, discipline, stuff that had been in a sense forgotten, is now back and valued and considered good. Even comparisons between the situation now and the war are declared appropriate, surprisingly. Who knew? Who saw all that coming? So these maybe are all little resurrections, but I would be careful with the comparison, because the real resurrection is substantially different. First of all, it is not an idea. It's not a concept. The real resurrection is an event. Someone, a very concrete, a unique person, Jesus of Nazareth, died and then rose from the dead. The disciples, starting with Mary Magdalene, they encounter not an idea, but himself, their rabbi, their master, their teacher, the Son of God. Also, when he comes back, something has changed once and for all. He doesn't just continue his life as before. He comes and now he is glorified. His body immortal, he will ascend to the Father, where he now is to intercede for us. Nothing is as it used to be. This is the Christ we celebrate at Easter, the one we belong to. Nothing and no one can separate us from him. It's not by chance that on Easter morning he encounters, of all people, Mary Magdalene. Such as to show how profound, how radical, how deep the transformation is. Transformation already now in this life, where he rescued her from the kind of very low points of human existence, elevates her to be the apostle of the apostles, the one that brings the message of the risen Christ to everyone else, starting with St. Peter and the others. Of all people, she was chosen. She is led through this encounter with the risen Lord to a new life, the fullness of life, the glorified state, in which now, as a saint, she participates. Now, Easter this year, probably not only for me, is both a consolation and a challenge. The challenge is how, despite it all, despite the churches being closed, we can encounter Christ. How can I remove all these obstacles and all these excuses so this encounter can happen and be fruitful in me right now? Of course, right now we are in crisis mode. You see it everywhere. On the streets, in workplaces, in our churches. We are in crisis mode. And we put our hope in certain forms of behavior, like in decisions that the politicians take, in the way we try ourselves to live disciplined lives, observe social distancing. We put a fair amount of, you might say, trust and hope, in technocratic and technological solutions, kind of technological deliverance from where we now are. That ultimately will not be enough. It already is not enough to make it happen now. We need something that is deeply inside of us, that animates us, that lets us look also beyond this crisis, but even beyond our own lives. Because in all we try to do now, as individuals and as a society and together in community, we will discover that we can't manage it all on our own. We will become aware of our limits and limitations. Personal and, you might say, general, objective. We will also need to realize that this crisis by itself does not necessarily produce something good. It may, it can, but that doesn't and won't happen automatically. We will need to do something so that we can go through this and come out of the crisis truly transformed, and transformed for the better. Because there's certainly also a chance of this not only not going well, but not leading to a good end, to a good new situation. We also got to admit, right, the whole thing is a bit humbling. Even in our rich superfunctional states, you might say especially in the rich superfunctional states, this crisis is very difficult, very hard. Many victims, many people die, already have died. Humbling the fact that we didn't see it coming, that we weren't as prepared as we could have been, perhaps. And so we react. Some of us are more angry, maybe I, right? Others despair, others try to negotiate or to kind of ignore it, downplay it a bit. When you look at this, these are fundamentally the stages of grief. And we need to get through them, maybe at least through some of them, until we reach acceptance. And acceptance means face reality as it is. Not to look away, not to deny it, not to make it bigger or smaller than it is. When I accept reality, I see it, and then I can cope. I can live through it, get through it. And for both, for perceiving it, for seeing really how it is, and for getting through it, the faith is crucial. Not to lose the faith is crucial. And it is exactly not just some kind of faith, vaguely, but it's the faith in the resurrection that is crucial. And even better put, the faith in the risen Christ. Because that faith makes it possible to approach this situation now, in a sense, as a spirit, with a spirit of repentance, and make it an occasion of conversion. That's theologically appropriate, and you could say psychologically it's also good. Because it allows me to face this as bad and as sad as it is, and to discover in the midst of it that some good can come out of the bad. That's what we celebrate. We sing in the Easter Vigil. Oh, happy fault, what great and glorious a Redeemer you have found. In fact, that is exactly the one who suffered, who went to the very bottom. The Creed says he descended into hell for us, and from there he came back. And in a sense, he drags us along if we stick to him. So yes, science and politics, they do have some power. They have lots of, you might say, responsibility right now. But underneath it all must be the deeper faith and the deeper trust in God. As the apostle says, from him alone we can expect redemption. Redemption and forgiveness and hope even for those who are sick, who are suffering, even for those who die. St. Paul writes, when Christ, who is your life, is revealed, then you also will be revealed with him in glory. To all of you, in the midst of it all, a happy Easter and many blessings from St. George's Church and from St. Albertus Pfarrgemeinde in Ottawa. Frohe Ostern.